You know, we all look for certainty, right? A solid foundation for what we believe. In this explainer, we're going to trace that feeling all the way back to its source, an eternal plan centered on a single pivotal figure.
It really all starts with this very human desire, doesn't it? It's captured so perfectly right here in the Gospel of Luke. We have this deep need to know, with certainty, that what we've been taught is actually true. It's more than just faith. It's about needing that firm ground beneath our feet.
And what's so amazing is that these truths aren't just some abstract ideas we dreamed up. Nope, they're declarations that were passed down to us, delivered by the people who were there from the very beginning, the eyewitnesses, the ministers of the Word. So this is an inherited certainty, something rooted in real, direct experience. And that brings us to a really crucial question. If we're the ones who've received such a profound and historically grounded truth, a salvation confirmed with signs and wonders and miracles, what does that ask of us? Well, the sources are pretty clear. We have to give it our most earnest attention, because letting something this significant just slip away, that's not an option. So where does this certainty really come from? The foundation isn't just a collection of historical accounts. It's grounded in a purpose that was set in motion long, long before any of them. And here's the kicker. This salvation we're talking about wasn't some afterthought. It wasn't just a divine reaction to a problem. It was the result of an eternal purpose. This whole story was planned before time even began, and that's what gives our belief its incredible weight.
This eternal purpose leads us right to the source. So now we're going to shift from our feeling of certainty to the eternal nature of the Son himself.
This is one of the most profound statements ever written. Just think about it. Before creation, before time as we even understand it, he already was. This verse just lays it all out, his pre-existence and his absolute divinity. He wasn't just with God, he was God. Wow.
So what does it mean to be the Word? The Scriptures use this incredible, almost poetic language to help us get our heads around it. He's the visible image of the invisible God. He is the shining brightness of God's own glory, the exact representation of his very being. Basically, if you've seen the Son, you've seen the Father.
And his power and authority, they extend over everything. He isn't just a part of creation, he is the agent of all creation. From the earth we stand on to the farthest star in the heavens, everything, visible and invisible, thrones, dominions, you name it, it was all made by him, for him, and is held together by him, right this very second.
Now, this eternal, all-powerful being is at the very center of a divine plan. A plan that's described as a mystery, something hidden in God for ages, but now it's finally being revealed. This shows us a huge shift in history. For centuries, God spoke through prophets, in different ways and at different times. But all of that was leading up to this one moment. In these last days, his ultimate communication to us wasn't through a prophet. It was through his own Son.
So if the Son is the ultimate message, then what was the message he came to deliver? What was the whole point of this unbelievable act of him coming into the very world that he created?
And here's where the mystery starts to unfold, and it's a real paradox. This eternal, divine creator was made, just for a little while, a little lower than the angels. And why? For the specific purpose of the suffering of death. Humility and sacrifice were baked into the plan from the very start.
This gets to the heart of it, the concept of atonement. His purpose was to experience death for everyone, and it was through that very suffering that he became the perfect captain of our salvation, the one who could lead many sons unto glory. His suffering wasn't pointless. It had this incredible, redemptive, perfecting purpose.
And believe it or not, this wasn't some new idea. The threads of this plan are woven all through history. Way back, centuries earlier, Abraham actually prophesied that God himself would provide the sacrifice, the promise of the Lamb, the ultimate substitute. It was always part of the story. So now we get to the final act of this epic, eternal drama, the fulfillment of that mystery, the arrival of the Promised One and the dawning of the light. His arrival kicks off this crystal-clear chain of events. First, the promise is fulfilled. He has come. But his coming isn't just a historical event. It actually gives us understanding. And with this new understanding, we can truly know God, which leads to the final, amazing recognition. He is the true God and the source of eternal life. The impact of this is just massive. He doesn't just give life. Life is in him. It's his very essence. And that life, it radiates out like a light, illuminating a world that was in darkness, giving understanding and direction to all of us. It's so important to get this. He wasn't a reluctant participant in this plan. This wasn't something forced on him. His coming was an act of his own internal will, a willing step in a purpose he shared with the Father.
You can really see his heart in this when he quotes the Psalms. The scriptures themselves were talking about his coming, saying on his behalf, "Lo, I come. I delight to do thy will." There's joy and purpose in his obedience. It's a willing, delighted fulfillment of everything that was ever written about him.
And so, this is where we land. His incarnation, his coming into our world isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning. It's the official starting line of the good news, the gospel of Jesus Christ. Everything before was the setup, everything after flows from this one singular world-changing event.
So we end with this. We've traced a story from an eternal purpose through creation, prophecy, and finally to a birth in Bethlehem. A story that began before our universe even existed. The final question, then, is a personal one for you to think about, knowing that his story started in eternity. How does that change the beginning, the middle, and the end of yours?